And he's already changed the ginger growler for David Lammy. We've got the ginger growler gone. David Lammy, the bowling ball, he is in.
Jim Davidson clashes with Starmer and Rayner live on TV. Audience left stunned. You're not going to believe what just happened. Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner, Labour's two biggest faces, walked into a live TV studio expecting to push their vision, defend their record, and show unity. But instead, they walked straight into a storm. Because waiting on that panel was comedian-turned-political commentator, Jim Davidson. Known for being outspoken, unfiltered, and never afraid to say what others won't. Davidson didn't hold back. What unfolded was a clash so sharp, so fiery, that the audience was left stunned. And here's the thing, it wasn't scripted. It wasn't planned. It was raw television. And moments like this, they don't just disappear the next morning. They linger. The debate started as expected questions about the economy, about migration, about the direction of Britain under a potential Labour government. Starmer, calm and collected, gave his polished answers. Rayner, passionate as always, tried to connect with the working-class base she represents. But then, Davidson struck. Looking directly at Starmer, he said, "You keep telling us you'll fix the country, but people out there don't believe you. They see crime rising, bills climbing, and freedoms shrinking. Why should anyone trust Labour now?" The audience gasped. Starmer tried to counter, pointing to Labour's policies and long-term plans, but Davidson wasn't finished. He turned to Rayner, sharp as ever, "And you claim to speak for working people, but how many of them actually feel heard by you today? People are tired of politicians talking down to them." The tension in the room was electric. Rayner, never one to back down, shot back, "Jim, you're entitled to your views, but you don't live in the real world of politics. We're here trying to fix what the Conservatives broke." That line drew applause from some in the audience. But Davidson seized on it, replying, "The real world? The real world is people who can't afford their energy bills, people who don't feel safe walking home at night. Don't tell me about the real world. I'm out there. I hear them every day." And in that moment you could feel it. This wasn't just banter. This was a direct challenge to Labour's image. Social media exploded instantly. Clips flooded Twitter. One user wrote, "Jim Davidson just said what millions are thinking and Starmer had no answer." Another posted, "Say what you want about Davidson, but he exposed the cracks in Labour's message tonight." But of course, Labour supporters fired back. One tweet read, "Jim Davidson is an entertainer, not a policymaker. Cheap shots don't solve Britain's problems." Another wrote, "Rayner held her ground brilliantly, she won that exchange." That's the power of live TV. It polarizes. It forces people to pick a side. And it creates moments that cut through all the noise of scripted speeches and press conferences. Now, let's zoom out. Why does this matter? Because Labour is in a fragile position. Polls suggest they could form the next government, but only if they convince people they're strong enough, united enough, and ready enough to lead. And when figures like Davidson manage to rattle both Starmer and Rayner in one sitting, it shakes that image. One insider reportedly told a journalist after the show, "Starmer doesn't like being thrown off script." That's exactly what happened tonight. And here's the irony, Jim Davidson isn't even a politician. He's not leading a party, he's not drafting manifestos. But in a single TV clash, he managed to do what many of Labour's formal opponents struggle to achieve: make Starmer and Rayner look defensive, even uncertain. This is where politics gets interesting. Because it's not always about the policies on paper. It's about performance. How do leaders handle pressure? How do they deal with uncomfortable questions? How do they come across in the heat of the moment? And by that measure, Davidson walked away with the moment. Of course, critics say his approach was combative, even theatrical. Some journalists argued that Davidson turned serious politics into entertainment. But isn't that the point? In today's media landscape, politics is entertainment. The leaders who survive are the ones who master both worlds. Think about Boris Johnson, who spun comedy into charisma. Think about Nigel Farage, who thrives on confrontation. These figures prove that in the age of social media, being able to own the moment matters just as much as drafting policy papers. And that's why Starmer and Rayner should be worried. Because what happened tonight will be replayed, reshared, and remembered. It wasn't just another debate. It was a test. A test of whether Labour's leaders can stand tall under fire. The reaction tells us one thing clearly: they didn't pass with flying colours. So, what happens next? Labour will try to spin this, to focus on their policies, to move on. Davidson will bask in the attention, reminding everyone that he still has a powerful voice in Britain's political conversation. And the public? They'll keep asking the same uncomfortable question. If Starmer and Rayner can't win a clash with a comedian, how will they handle the real battles that come with running the country? That's the takeaway. Because politics today isn't just decided in Parliament or at the ballot box. It's decided in moments like this, when the spotlight burns hottest, when the pressure is real, when the mask slips. And if this was just one clash on one night, how much deeper will it go as Britain heads into an election?